You to Victoria and our music ministry and a few of the trolls that joined the choir apparently this week. So, I was just thinking that I should dust up my troll history book and share with you a little bit of some troll history. How many of you actually have watched the movie Trolls? Well, believe you me, you're about to not only hear about it, but you're going to go home and you're going to look for it and you're going to watch it. Because it's a really great story, and I really believe that it's a story that all of us that are here connected in this spiritual community, whether in person or watching from home, not only can we appreciate the story, but we can learn from it. We can really lean on the principles and the way in which the story really conveys the message about the truth of who we are. See, the magic of Trolls is that regardless of what we look like, regardless of what our hair color is for troll hair, regardless of the skin color, the things that we like, the things that we're into, that we're really able to, as a community and as individuals, trolls that are connected, come together to recognize the power that is already within us. And that power, the more that we embody it, the more we get to experience what we're going to call today troll joy. So now first you have to understand, right, for those of you who may not have watched the movie yet, that there are trolls and there are Bergens. And the trolls are these wonderful creatures who are happy and joyful, and they love to sing, and they make people happy. The Bergens are those that are kind of nasty, they're upset all the time, they're really not happy at all. And as I sat with that and recognized, I was thinking, okay, well, I know some trolls and I know some Bergens. But then it also dawned on me, I've been a troll and I've been a Bergen. I have to tell you that I've experienced both, and I've shown up in life as both, where I've had moments of joy and moments of happiness and moments of getting upset and angry. I've had experiences where I have experienced such deep and loving joy and moments where I'm upset. Been there? How many of you have been Bergens before? How many of us have been trolls before? And it's this opportunity for us to recognize, how we move from one to the other and the things that we can do to support ourselves in really stepping into our troll divine nature. Because yes, we have moments where we think that we can really take on the world, right? And then we have moments where we think that we are a victim to it. And I think it's a very important thing for us to recognize that we can be within both, and that together we can lean on each other to support each other when we're being more of Bergens, rather than remembering how troll, divine joy, and nature is our birthright. Now, in the past, these Bergens, they saw the trolls and how happy they were, and they came up with an idea about how they could get a piece of that. But take a look at what they created and see if it's something that, do you think it would work? Because what they came up with was a plan that, it was pretty awful, actually. And the Bergens began to think that maybe if they ate the happy trolls, that they could be happy too. And as awful as that sounds, and as, quite honestly, dumb that plan may feel for some of us, haven't we fallen into that trap before? That we start thinking about, if we consume something that is outside of us, that will bring us joy. That if we look outside of us, that is what brings us a greater sense of the happiness that so many of us are looking to experience. And so the trolls created this thing called Trollstice. And it was this holiday where once a year they were able to eat the trolls, and supposedly that's when they'd be able to be happy, on that one day a year where they would consume the trolls. We're constantly looking outside of us, though, for joy and happiness, are we not? Instead of realizing that it's something that is already within us, instead of realizing that it's something that we just get to step into and claim for ourselves, we are constantly creating the experiences where we think that if we consume something that is glittery, oh, maybe we can glitter too. Especially as the students and the teachers and administrators, or you're going back to school, you may fall into some of that trap also, like thinking that, well, maybe if I get good grades, that will make me happy. Or if I get invited to a certain table in the lunchroom, well, that will make me happy. And so many of us are looking for some of those things to make us happy. And don't get me wrong, I have a little troll at home. He's somewhere around here also. And so I want him to do really well in school, and I don't want his happiness to be dependent on it. I don't want him to think that if he doesn't achieve the things that he wants to achieve for himself, that he is separate from the joy that is inherently already within us. So many of us have been told that in order for us to be happy, we have to have our own successes in life, right? And when we get to a certain place in life where we've reached our goals, then we can relax, then we can be happy, then we can have fun. But Unity on the Bay, we know that there is fun to be had already. We know that there is a joy that is already within us that is just simply asking for us to embody it more fully. And we get to ask the question, who defines success for us? Is it people outside of us? Or do we get to choose how we define success? And I think that we can define our own success, and it's wonderful to do so. It's wonderful to create a vision for how we want our future to be. It's wonderful to be able to set an intention about how it is that we want to move through life, and our joy is not dependent on those things. Our joy simply is already within us. Now, I want to go back to the Bergens, because the Bergens thought that, like if they could eat the trolls, they could be happy. And one of the things that the trolls really had going for them is that they were always working together. They were always a part of a group, and they were a part of a community that supported each other in remembering the truth of their being. And they had this motto, no trolls left behind. And it shows up in the movie and the story in many different ways, but no troll left behind. A couple of days ago, I got an email from one of the sweetest, kindest trolls from our community, Chris Arroyo, who found a psalm and wanted to share it with me. And in her email, she said, actually, this is the motto for Unity on the Bay. And it said this, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. And look around you, like we're in this together. Look around you and feel the power of this community, so that when you do forget that you get to be a troll and you move into that Bergen kind of mentality, that you can lean on the people that are around you, or you can lean on just even knowing that there are people around you that believe in your truth, that believe in the very activity of God that moves through and as you. And we get to remind each other of this truth. We get to remind each other of the truth of who we are, who we truly are, and how our joy is not dependent on anything that is outside of us. It simply is a choice that we make to actually live it. And so the question for all of us is, what choice will we make? Will we allow ourselves to be the trolls that we were all born to be? Or will we allow ourselves to become Bergens? Dana Gaitlin says, happiness, pure joy, is from within. It is a spiritual entity, a free, inalienable, untouchable gift of God. It doesn't depend on this or that. It doesn't have to be created. It is, period. Joy simply is, and it is within us, and it is part of our divine nature. And if we're not experiencing joy, I love asking questions. I love processes. I love practices. So if we are not living in joy, we get to ask ourselves why. And we allow ourselves in that question to just, simply let whatever comes up to come up. Whatever it is that is up for the healing, come up for the healing and be revealed to us. And I invite you, when you ask yourself that question, what is keeping me from my joy, that you do two things. The first one is to go further into it. Right? So if something comes up about why you're not feeling joyous, why you're not feeling happy, to really discover what's underneath all of that and do whatever work that is required to do. And at the same time, tell yourself, it's also not true. I don't have to do the healing work in order to actually embody and step into my joy right here and right now. We can make the choice to simply be in it and live in it as we do the work. because our divine nature is one of strength to be able to move through that which we need to heal, and our divine nature is joy to simply be embodiment of. Now, I love, Reverend Pam and I were talking about how just synchronistic everything is, right? We're riding a wave, right? I think, and she did it so beautifully. What I'm going to invite you to do also during her meditation, and it's take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and again, think of something that makes you really, really, really happy. Everyone got something? Open your eyes. Do you feel happy? I would venture to say that it's not what you thought of that made you happy. It's what you thought of that reminded you of the happiness that was within. It's that thought that you had that unleashed the happiness that was already there, asking to be experienced, asking to be shared, asking to be lived. Now, Princess Poppy knows all of this. She's pretty wise beyond her troll years. And when some trolls are kidnapped by the Bergens for trollstice, she sets off with her friend Branch to get them back. Remember, no trolls left behind. Now, Branch is a very interesting troll because Branch has actually lost his color. And he lost his color because he started to believe that life was meant to be dull and that life was something to be feared. And it was that fear that really kept him from fully embodying his natural color of trolls. And I get it, right? Like, we've been there. Life can sometimes feel scary for you children, right? Like going into a new year, going into a new school, some of you, for administrators and teachers who may not know the kids that are coming in to their classrooms. Like, there can be things that feel scary. And we can move beyond our comfort zone and recognize that everything that we have, again, not just the joy, but the strength and the faith can really rise up and invite us to live life differently, move beyond the fears and the uncomfortability. Because our true colors are meant to be lived. Our true colors are meant to fully be expressed. And they're meant to shine brightly, not only for us, but for other people to see, right? Like, it's part of the no trolls left behind. The more that we shine our light, the more that we invite other people to shine their light also. And we marvel at the beautiful colors of the rainbow that simply are. And we are inspired by individuals that have said no to outside conditions for their joy and happiness and are living their best life here and now. And we can do the same also as unique expressions of God. And so we see beyond the gray to the color that truly is underneath, because when Branch all of a sudden is reminded of his nature and he's able to step beyond his fear, he once again embodies the beautiful colors, the troll that he was always meant to be. And for too long, we have shied away from our own colors. Maybe not the full spectrum of it, but maybe there's one or two colors of who we are that we haven't allowed ourselves to really live into and express and to share with others. And so this is an opportunity for us to let all of the colors shine, for everything that we are to show up in life. Now, Poppy reminds Branch of this truth, and to not shy away from his divine nature. But guess what? Branch then also is able to do the same for Poppy. Because once they go on this traveling journey to find the other Bergens, Poppy, who's usually so positive, all of a sudden realizes, wait a minute, this might not be so easy. There may be some challenges that come in the way. And in the song that you heard, Victoria singing, Poppy actually says, what if it's all a big mistake? What if it's more than I can take? But guess what? I really think that she belongs to troll unity on the bay somewhere, because in that moment where those thoughts came up, she was able to step back from it and also affirm for herself. She goes into saying, no, I can't think that way. No, I can't think that way because I know that I'm really, really, really going to be okay. Not just really be okay. Really, really, really be okay. And we know that when a troll or a child says really, 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 they mean it, right? And we get to mean it also. And so I invite you to actually speak that for yourself. Let's speak it together. I'm really, really, really going to be okay. One more time. I'm really, really, really going to be okay. Now turn to somebody around you and tell them, you're really, really, really going to be okay. You're really, really, really going to be okay. And now go within and tell yourself once again, I'm really, really, really going to be okay. We are. Now, a few months ago, I actually found this awesome quote from Neil Donald Walsh. And I have to tell you, if I've had like one-on-ones with you in the last couple of weeks, I've probably shared this with you because I just keep sharing it with as many people as I can because there's such beautiful truth in it. The reality is that we will face things that don't feel easy. The reality is that we will face challenges and difficulties, and we can face them, and we can move through them and beyond them. And he says this, Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, said this, and at the beginning he talks a little bit about illness, but I changed it to challenges because he really talks about it at the end for challenges. He says, on this day of your life, dear friend, I believe God wants you to know that challenge is not a sign of spiritual weakness, but of spiritual strength. When we fall into challenges, there are some who will say, why did you create that for yourself? They might convince you to see it as a sign of spiritual weakness or failure. It is not. It is a sign of spiritual strength. All challenges are a sign of spiritual strength and of the readiness of the soul to move on and to evolve even further. If we can look at all the challenges and difficulties that come up and actually welcome them from the sense of, wait, my soul knows that it is time to move beyond the fear. My soul knows that it is time to shine my light. My soul knows that it is time to embody a greater sense of joy. And so I welcome this opportunity to move beyond all that I believe has kept me separate from my joy and start living from the place of my divine nature. If we can remember that, then of course, like the song says, we can get back up again because we are leaning on the very power of God and the power of our own divine nature in order for us to do that. And we can continue to get back up, and get back up, regardless of what challenges or difficulties we may face. Now, when Poppy and Branch don't let their challenging situations get the best of them, then all of a sudden they get the best out of the challenge and the difficulty and that situation. I've shared it with you before. If you think that something is getting the best of you, think again and ask yourself, how can I get the best out of that thing? And so all of a sudden, Poppy and Branch meet another Bergen, Bridget, and they help Bridget realize that the joy and the love that she wants to experience, that it is already available to her. That it's not only available to her, but it is her divine right to actually live into it. Now, I don't want to give away the whole troll history story, because I really do want you all, if you haven't watched it, to watch the movie and tell me all about how much you loved it afterwards. But I do want to leave you, all of us, with what I consider to be the 3 lessons from the trolls. And the first one is that joy is within. The joy is already within us, that no one and nothing can keep us from our joy, and whatever we have given power to, that we have thought could make us happy outside of us, we can claim that power back. We don't have to live like that anymore, and we can truly allow ourselves to step into our power by allowing the joy that is already within us to be lived. We can choose joy, and we can choose our troll nature. The second thing is to not give up. When challenges come up, when things can get a little difficult, we can get back up again because we are here to evolve. We are here to grow. We are here to expand, and those challenges are there to support us in that conscious evolution that is taking place not only for us individually, but is really taking place for humanity right here and right now. And the third thing is that no trolls get left behind, that we help each other realize how beautiful our colors are. And the more that we allow ourselves to be of service, to bring people up, the more that we can lean on others to be the reminders for us when we need it. And that's, I believe, how Poppy, Branch, and Bridget and the rest of the trolls were able to show all of the Bergens that they could live into their joy and happiness, and that it really resided within them. As Poppy says at the end of the movie, happiness isn't something you put inside, it's already there. Sometimes you just need someone to remind you. I leave you just inviting you to be a troll and not a Bergen, and to help others be trolls also. I believe that that's how we truly live heaven that is already at hand, and that is how we live a life of grace. And if you forget it, lean on those that are around you that will remind you so that you can get back up again. As we also sang, some super fun surprise is around the corner. Just riding on a rainbow, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay, everyone, because we're really, really, really going to be okay. Amen? Amen it is. Namaste. Thank you so much for visiting our YouTube channel. We post new videos every week to keep you positive, present, and inspired to your divinity. Please click on the subscribe button below and also that notification bell. Remember to share this with your friends and your family, those that you know will be inspired just like you have been. And always remember that we love you, that we bless you, that we behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. Thanks and take care.